Man, I guess we are going to get spicy in season 4.
We kept saying that we're gonna get spicy in season 4. So yeah, no, I'm loving where this is going. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the What the Nell podcast with yours truly, Nell Tice. We are here with the EcoPreneur's Edge edition, season 3 closer with my beautiful co-host, Mikee Benz. Welcome back, Mikee.
Hello, Nell. Thank you. And as always, it's so good to do the show, but another season wrap up.
Crazy. How did we get to season 3?
Well, because I said when we started this, Gary Vee will not come on our podcast until we hit episode 100. So we just powered through on our quest to get to 100 episodes.
We're doing it. Gary Vee, we're coming for you. So, just take notice. We were briefly looking back at the season on our spreadsheet and reminiscing a little bit. It's so, I guess because these episodes come out every other week, it feels like the season is a lot longer than it actually is. And I look back and I'm like, oh, that's not that many episodes, but those episodes occurred, a longer time ago than it feels like, I thought. And, when we opened season 3, and had our first guest and everything, we were on the high of season 2, and I'm still riding that same high.
I have to say that I am too. But it's a different same kind of high, if that makes sense. So season 2, I was so proud that we started. I was so proud that we got through season 1. I was so glad that we introduced guest speakers in season 2. I was so glad that we finished it. And season 3, we kept similar formats, but we also recorded our first live. So I'm having that same adrenaline rush from a season 3 wrap up, but for different reasons, because I know that we are still showing up and we're still challenging ourselves.
Yes, that is the best feeling. And no, I agree with you when you say the high is the same but different. I think I'm starting to feel the high for the excitement for next season.
Season 4.
I mean, we were just talking about an episode that we already have guests lined up for and planned. And that to me is so exciting because, first of all, I'm really looking forward to that episode. But it's exciting because we're still... it could be very different. We could be ending the season off and being like, you know what, it was a good season. Let's take a break. We need a break. Let's not think about it. Let's do this, do that. And that's where things go to die.
That is. And actually, that's we never have a topic for our season wrap-ups, but I just want to share a little tidbit of something that I feel makes the EcoPreneur's Edge very successful. And that's whenever we're finished, shooting our live episode or recording one for the podcast or YouTube platforms, we always schedule our next recording date before we end the meeting. So there's no back and forth. There's no, oh, hey, I got busy and this fell through the cracks. We do it because we're self-aware that if we don't, it won't happen. And we're accountable to each other to continue this awesome platform.
Right. Well, life hack, I mean, that is a pro tip. You should do that before you end any meeting, whether that's a podcast recording. If you have plans of going forward, an accountability piece is to make that plan before you hop off of that meeting. So before you end, say, you know what, we're planning on getting together again. Let's look at our calendars now. And let's schedule that now, even if you think there's a possibility that you might have to reschedule, because it puts the plan in place and it plants that seed. So it's a lot harder to just, cancel everything and have the Bermuda Triangle of plans, so just schedule before you hop off the meeting. That is a life hack for sure.
In the hairdressing industry, one of our biggest indicators of success is called pre-booking.
Oh, yes.
And luckily, you just happened to get a co-host who is very well versed in pre-booking.
Yes, yes, I do. I'm very lucky to have a co-host like yourself to be specializing in that because I've had other plans with other people, not necessarily on the podcast, but I am a big fan of surrounding myself with people who do what they say they're going to do. And in my mind, pre-booking and actually scheduling things, like that is the way to my heart, is following through with what you say. And some people might say that the way to my heart is through my stomach. I mean, it can be, but it really is scheduling and following up and doing everything you say you're gonna do.
Well, man, that reminds me of so many things we talked about on this season and other
Mhm.
seasons. Like
Yeah.
self-awareness is my number one superpower. Accountability is my number two superpower. We mentioned specializing, which was
Mhm.
one of our episodes in season three, and we
Yeah.
talked about how important it can be to build a brand by focusing, niching down, and specializing. But once that brand is established, we are under no obligation to stay there. We can specialize in everything,
Mhm.
within reason.
That's a really great way of saying I do what I want.
I do what I want.
So speaking of season three, Mikey, I have to. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think might have been? I mean, all of the episodes are impactful, but what was the most impactful episode for you?
Um, okay, so in typical Libra fashion, I have two because I just can't choose. It's the finality of choosing one. No, no, but two really stood out to me personally, um, because it was, uh, I don't know, like a new realm for me, and that was the Q&A episode with
Mm,
Kelly, where I
yeah.
didn't know anything, and I was so scared in jazz band to do an improv solo for fear of getting it wrong. I didn't want to be a
Oh,
failure. So having Kelly on was so refreshing because it reiterated that I do know what I'm talking about,
yeah.
even when it's off the cuff.
Yeah.
And then the other episode, which is a little bit more, I don't want to say planned, scripted, or rehearsed, but it was something that I knew I felt comfortable talking about, and that was the cryptocurrency episode.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So both of those episodes were like my favorite because they reiterated that I am Mikey with two E's.
Mm.
The two E's stand for the environment, everyone, and I'm an expert in the things that I talk about.
Yes, those are really good points. I would concur. I agree. I think the Q&A episode might have been one of my favorite ones, and it might be from a different perspective, but I I'm and I joke about this, and coming off of our live episode, I that was probably my other I'm a Sagittarius. I can have multiple favorites too, but I love live. I love doing live shows. I'm no stranger to it. I do more of that than I do anything else. So I've become accustomed to it. And I love the in person engagement and not knowing what the questions were, because I mean, it's showing true authenticity. So it was an opportunity for us to show, hey, we do actually know what we're talking about here, and we do have real opinions, and we're not editing this. So it was an opportunity. I mean, yes, the episode is edited for, you know, flow and things like that for silences, but it's not edited in the way of the content. And so it was proof, basically. We had someone else there that understood, like, yeah, okay, so they're answering my questions in real time. They do know what they're talking about. So that was cool for me. The live episode, there's nothing like going live. I love it so much. But I loved the episode with Isaac, mostly for personal reasons, because I've known Isaac for so long. He's done my hair for so long, and I wanted to get two hair professionals together. So I loved doing that.
It was good. And like if we're gonna talk about, the crushes I formed, we obviously have to talk about Sam from Wriggle Brew, who I see is doing awesome. Like
Yeah.
Isaac, obviously. And so just because I have two, favorite episodes doesn't mean that they're all not my favorites. So
No, and that's the thing. It's like picking a favorite child. Like I couldn't imagine a parent saying, "Yeah, I love the this one, but the other ones are great too." Yeah, like I said, they're all impactful in one way or another. And there might be favorite moments from other episodes, that shine through too.
so yeah, those are our favorites. What can we do better, Nell?
Ooh, this is a great question. Um, I think we can push harder for guests that we want to have on. That can really make a big impact. I think we could definitely do that. Um, hmm, this is a really good question. I also think we can get a little more creative and we started doing that with the live episode, but ways to keep people engaged and get into the conversation. And if anyone has any suggestions or any ways that they feel would make them want to engage more, then please reach out to us. We're always open for suggestions and feedback and things like that. So I think we could have some more creative freedom.
That's great. And I was just thinking, I know in season two, we talked about like the sustainability of podcasting and social
Hmm.
media and stuff like that. We might be overdue for a brainstorming session because, as you were
Mm.
saying, what can we creatively do better? How can we drive more engagement, if you will? Uh, I would love to know what we should focus on in like an example is if more people listen in podcast, how can we be more creative in audio
Yeah.
than if, people are consuming the YouTube more, how can we be creative in video?
Yes. Yeah. I will. So I'll tell you, and I think you know what? I think we actually in season two's wrap up, we did like a here are the numbers analytics type thing, and I wasn't prepared for that this time because I completely forgot about that. But I will tell you that listenership has risen. Not necessarily viewership, and I'm okay with admitting that. And that's right there in front of you. Like if you go to the YouTube channel, you can see the views. But I don't push the YouTube channel as hard as I could too. That's something that, could be done better as well. Um, but I have noticed there's been quite the uptick in listenership lately. And I love that. That's great. But how can we connect more with the listeners is a question that I've been asking too.
Well, I know that so number one, I will record all of our episodes shirtless and we might get some increased viewership
And then
viewers.
all of the thumbnails are gonna have Mikey shirtless. We're changing all of our branding to Mikey. Like,
Look, somebody taught me at like probably the age of 6 on a 90s sitcom that sex sells. So
so this is a really good. This would also make a really good topic for an episode too, Mikey, because I have some thoughts around this, and especially lately, how I've been thinking about like the Kenny and Nell YouTube channel, the YouTube channel I have with my husband. It's mostly travel focused, but we started watching a couple years ago on YouTube named Kara and Nate, and their thumbnails, their content, very wholesome, family friendly. Like they don't even swear on their channel, and their whole thing was, we don't want to go down the route of having to, use basically sex in the thumbnails, like, Kara showing off, her body and things like that. And they've just attracted their audience organically and they have their target audience now. But there have been times, and we also watch other YouTubers where the woman is clearly like she's wearing the skimpiest top she can, and there's so many different ways to go about it. Proof that both methods work. Both the channel, and obviously there's so much goes into a YouTube channel. But the one that doesn't use scantily clad women on the thumbnail has over 4 million subscribers, and the one that does use scantily clad female figures, has a couple 100,000. So
that is a really interesting insight, and I would pose that two things can be true. I think that somebody can be scantily clothed and acquire an audience or a viewership that is mindful of sex positivity and also wholesome, integral content. I
For
know
sure.
that, and a lot of times people like and follow what they're not embarrassed to open up on the subway or in the coffee shop. And so I know that while subscriber count might be one number, viewing analytics might be a different number.
Oh, it is. Oh, it very much is. And yes, I know, I agree. Because there's even been certain things on like a plane where I'm like, oh, I want to read this book or I want to watch this video and I'm not going to open it because there's people around me. And I'm not saying I watch like smut, like
yeah, and even sometimes I love gatekeeping. I think I've mentioned that on this podcast a few times. Like I love barriers to entry, and I love like the meritocracy of stuff like that. But like they're not even on a plane. If I want to read or listen to or watch self-help or business marketing, I want those tools to figure out for myself. That way I can grow as a person. I don't necessarily want to share that with the people around me.
Right.
Like, you do your own homework and we'll meet, halfway on the bridge 10 years from now.
Yeah, no, 100%. I get that. Yeah, and coming from a woman's perspective, I guess, I never wanted someone to follow or like, or so. I didn't want the reason behind a subscribe or a like to be because, oh, she looks hot in the thumbnail. Like, I want to be respected for the content. And sometimes I even think I do this too much now, where I'm very conscious of how I'm portraying myself in front of a group of men, or women, anybody. And I want, and especially in like a male-driven industry, which I am very much in, focus can be shifted really easily. And I'm not saying that I cringe at the fact that I even think about this because, and I know this is terrible, I don't even think of myself as like hot or like anybody should think that or would think that. But I'm just very cognizant of how an appearance for a woman in a male-driven industry can be. And I see nothing wrong. And like for other women to do it, great. But I don't know, maybe I should like dress a little, because also to me, sex is power.
Yes. So like I have so many things to say. I'm going to forget at least one of them. It's crazy that you're female in a male-dominated industry, where I was a male in two female-dominated industries.
For sure.
So it's like a really cool dichotomy, if you will, a mirror to each other. But going back to, audio versus video, it was a joke to do our YouTube videos shirtless. However, I do want to impress upon, and maybe even this is a season 4 episode, like there is sexual sustainability.
Oh, for sure.
And there's a huge, and especially as somebody who lived in Europe versus living in the US, there is so much power, like you said, in sexual freedom, sexual identity, and sexual exploration. And man, I guess we are going to get spicy in season 4.
We kept saying that we're going to get spicy in season 4. So yeah, no, I'm loving where this is going because Look, these are all very real topics.
I didn't forget anything, which is amazing. And so we were talking about, YouTube video versus podcast audio. I know my point to this whole big segue caveat was that when I'm listening to a podcast, I'm not necessarily there for the reference materials. I'm not going to go to your website after I'm done listening to it. Even audiobooks, love audiobooks. I'm not going to go to, www.marketingstorybrandtelling.com and look up the PDF after the podcast. So I love the engagement. I think reviews are powerful. If you have a question that you want answered or a topic that we should cover, leave it in our review. We will read them and we will get there. But the engagement, it's so weird because I love engagement via social media and everything. I have to put myself in the mindset of the people who are listening to us. How can we be creative with audio without needing them to engage with us?
Yeah. That's a good point. And you're absolutely right. We are due for another brainstorming session. And I think together we can come up with a couple of ideas for the audio space. Because, I still believe that the majority of podcast consumers are in the audio space. And while obviously I'm a video gal, I love that because I just love connecting faces and voices. It's very impactful. But yes, you're absolutely right. I think that there are ways to do that through the audio for sure. But I love, even just the spice level of, adding in sex, politics, or current events or anything like. I'm not saying I want to talk about politics, and that's not, people aren't here for political discussion, okay? We know that. However, there are sometimes certain sustainability, environmental impacts that are made by in the wake of political decisions. So we need to address some of those things.
And even branching off of that, there is sustainability in our lifestyle. Yes. Where unless we live under a rock and we're not connected via social media or the internet or digital technology at all, which if you're listening to this, you already are, we need tools in our toolkit to maintain a sustainable lifestyle whilst also being informed about current events, global affairs, geopolitical, socioeconomic politics, right. And showing how we get through it might inspire other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would also hate to see someone going down on a downward spiral because their consumption is destroying their very being. And sometimes we don't even know that that's happening, and we need to be made aware of it. And I think a healthy discussion about how you consume information is definitely on the bill.
I love this, and I'm actually marking down a few ideas.
I love
right
that. We're
now.
doing real-time note-taking, you guys.
Welcome to our mini brainstorming session.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's almost like we're recording our brainstorming session, which is really cool because it's letting you guys in on the behind the scenes of how all of this comes to be. And if anyone out there is an aspiring podcaster or video creator or anything, this is how it's done. And let us show you the ways. And if you have suggestions, like I said, we're all ears. We're all ears.
Like, get rid of your purple lights.
That was, it was such a sly suggestion without being a suggestion. I was like, no, you know what? That makes me want more purple.
You know what I would have said? I would have said, you look me in the eyes and say that again.
Oh my gosh. So if you didn't listen to or watch our live episode, what we're referring to is we were talking about failures and, people kind of infiltrating and discouraging us from doing things we're doing or being who we are. I was mentioning that I had a podcast guest. I was talking about how I love my new lights and I thought they were great and everything. And he was like, really? You do? You feel good about those? And I was like, huh? And it wasn't recorded, so you wouldn't have heard that, but we're referring to that situation. So for anybody that needs to be caught up, yeah. So get rid of the purple lights.
And yeah, we don't necessarily know the intentions of the speaker.
No.
It could have just been an absolutely
It could have been just
innocent...
a curiosity, like, oh, you do? Like, you feel that way? Like, that's...
However,
curiosity.
There's power. We should do a sustainability and communication episode because there's power in words. Words
Mikey,
matter.
that's not a dumb idea. Can you, okay, put that down, because there's sustainability in a text relationship, in face-to-face, FaceTime, email, like different communication styles, and how we can sustainably build relationships utilizing all of those. Because you and I both know that sometimes there's a tone in a text message that comes through without it actually being the tone.
This is accurate. And honestly, I will say, for us being at the wrap up of season 3, something that always kind of scares me, and I think that a lot of this was like the Zoom culture of 2020. There is a level of unrealized etiquette in digital communication. So you and I together, I think, Nell, we nail it out of the park every time.
Yeah.
Where we can be present in video, we are hearing, understanding, and interpreting correctly what we're saying, and none of even our guests, and this speaks to how we mediate the scenario. We don't talk over each other. We wait for a pause, or we interpret our cues for the next person to go, and that is just effective communication in a digital world.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true. Digital etiquette, sustainability. How about that for an episode topic? I just thought of something that completely escaped my brain.
Lay it on me.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay. Goal for season 4. We meet in person.
I did know that needed to come.
Uh-huh.
Did I know it was coming for season 4? I did not, but I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Maybe we can do an in-person episode. Maybe we can do it from the salon.
Oh, I'm open to that.
Yeah.
I definitely am glad that it's the salon, because the former dance studio, was so echoey. It would not have been conducive. My salon, I think, is a little bit more conducive to audio recording.
Sure, we can make it work. We'll make it work. But yeah, I think that should be a goal for season 4. So
I love it. I love it.
What else can we reflect on for season 3, Mikey? I feel like, what an accomplished season.
It is an accomplished season. So I think season 3 was super authentic. I know that we have fallen into a groove, if you will. My only worry with authentic groove making is it can tend to mysteriously slip into complacency.
I was just going to say that. Slip into coast.
And so I'm thinking, in our mini brainstorm session for season 4, we should come up with a little bit of our own flavor of an authentic structure. I don't want it to be rehearsed or scripted, but maybe just, a 2-minute thing in each episode here. So something to make sure that we are continuing to raise our own standards, challenge ourselves, but also maybe to think about what is the long-term format when we put CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and PBS out of business.
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I really think that could happen. Mikey will become the duo that everybody wants to be interviewed by. I move over Kelly and Mark.
I, yo, Kelly
The
and Mark.
View.
That's, oh my goodness. You said Kelly, and immediately my mind went to Kelly Clarkson because times have changed that much. I was like, karaoke, what?
Oh my
I
goodness.
can sing.
I don't know that anybody I took voice lessons and I can play music, but I don't know that anybody wants me to sing. So you know what? I'll just cue you up. How about that?
Okay. You produce the music and I'll do the vocals.
Done. Sold. Can do. Uh, yeah, it's where any of this truly goes, no one knows. And I think as long as we are having fun and we're continuing to create impact and providing value and all of the things that we should be doing with a podcast, I think that's number one, is to make sure all of those things are still happening. And if we can create more impact in the process and keep you engaged more in the process and continue to grow, whatever it is we need to do, we're here for it.
1,000%.
Yeah. So that all being said, Mikey, final thoughts on season 3.
Let's see. I'm super proud. I feel very accomplished. I feel like an expert. I shared some very vulnerable moments
Yeah, you did.
this season. You shared some very, very vulnerable moments. I'm thrilled that we can do this. We can speak to our expertise in sustainability, whether that's business, lifestyle, or environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I just really am proud of our body of work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. I love doing these episodes, and the other episodes that I do, obviously I love as well. I have other guests on different topics and things, mostly focused on business and entrepreneurship, and I love doing those. I love doing a solo episode here and now, and but these episodes I really look forward to because it's such a niche genre that I feel needs to grow, and I feel like we can help do that. So it almost seems like these episodes gives me a little more purpose. And I love that. And I don't want anybody to hear that that's not the case for the actual like meat and potatoes of What the Nell. But I think there's an added level of purpose to these episodes because of the sustainability factor and the environment and how sustainability plays a part in everything that we do. So it just kicks it up a notch, And you guys seem to like it, everybody listening and watching. So, some of these episodes that I have on What the Nell are some of the most popular ones.
That's such a great point now, and it's why the first E in my name is always going to be the environment, because I was really hard pressed to find a topic that encompassed everyone that I truly care about. And so my mission to find and foster sustainability towards the environment is my small way of leaving a legacy where I truly was Mikee with 2 E's, and I helped the environment and I helped everyone along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really truly what it's all about. And, once you put something on the internet, it doesn't go away. So, Mikee, these episodes are a part of your legacy.
Wow, I can't wait till there's a giant digital library for the aliens to find floating out in space.
Do you think they honestly haven't found it already?
Well, I mean, we don't have a giant digital library floating in space. There's hypotheses that there are items that are Hubble telescope and James Webb, receive signals from that they don't necessarily have like a light or energy source that matches anything. So they're like, maybe other alien civilizations wiped themselves out, but not before they left a gigantic floating digital library in space for somebody to happen upon whenever that happens.
Oh my goodness, Mikey. Well, we've just entered the alien speak, so maybe this is a good point to wrap up this episode.
This is the best point to wrap up the episode.
Mikey, it is such a pleasure having you as a co-host, and I can't thank you enough for doing this series with me, and for being who you are mostly. And I'm so excited for season 4.
I also am so excited. Thank you for doing this with me. Now, like I say, every episode, it's such an honor. And I do really feel like I have positioned myself to be the best darn second Robin to Howard Stern that ever did exist.
To me, Mikey, there is no one else that could be a Robin to the Batman other than you. So
my dream position.
That's kind of how I started out on our radio show that we have. I was as the Robin, and now somehow I've morphed into, just part of Batman. And as much as I tried to fight it, that's also a fun spot to be in. But I can resonate with the wanting to be the Robin. So
yeah, I'm Batman everywhere else. So let me be Robin here.
Yes, I love that. I love it. Whatever keeps us sustainable and thriving for an awesome future. So, Mikey, thank you so much again. You guys stay tuned for updates on the new season 4 release date. So make sure you're following us on all the socials and keeping up to date on all of the episodes. So look out for all of that information and possibly new branding featuring a shirtless Mikey coming up. But thank you all for being here so much. And please note that this is not the end of the What the Nell season. So there will be more What the Nell episodes coming going forward. But just stay on the lookout for new EcoPreneur's Edge episode updates. So thank you all so much. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like this video, share it with a friend. If you're on audio, leave a review, do all the things. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you all back for season 4 here on the EcoPreneur's Edge. But I will catch you next week for the newest What the Nell episode. So thank you all, and we'll catch you on the next one.